Oh, I was wondering if Tim had anything. Today, we're going to be talking to the handsomest lad, a beautiful man who's had a wonderful progression through his life of really finding himself.
So, all of our listeners, I would very much like to go ahead and welcome to the show my incredible brother-in-law, Nigel Suarez. Nigel, thank you so much for joining us on the show this week.
Hi, glad to be here.
Nigel, you are a man of few words, so I really hope that during the progression of the show, Aaron and I can, invoke this sense of communication that you've never experienced before. Or at least at the bare minimum, we'll ask you a couple questions and get to know you on a more personal level. Though I already know you on a pretty personal level, I think. For any of our podcast listeners out there who are not watching the video, Nigel just gave me a very, very good look.
It was sultry.
Sultry as all can be. So, diving into this episode, Nigel, I would very much like it if you would go ahead and provide an introduction of yourself. Kind of tell us a little bit about where you're from and what you've had your toes in before, and, we'll go from there.
We always start at the toes.
Yeah.
Work our way up to the hair.
Yeah, my name is Nigel. I'm Tim's brother-in-law. I currently am a video editor at a post-production company, which I worked very hard to get to. And I recently graduated from University of California, Santa Barbara, and I'm a failed actor, and I've dipped my toes in Tim's mouth.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad everybody out there on the internet now will get to understand and just feel the amount our relationship has come to. So, very great introduction there, Nigel. Like I said, man, a few words.
Thank you.
Nigel, I've seen a lot of your interviews, and I don't intend to ask you for either a homework project or your favorite scent of candle. What I want to know more about is the progression of your life. Because in some of our previous conversations, it seems like you were put on a very different track from the one that you have discovered for yourself. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I am a failed actor. I started acting at the age of 7 as an extra. Did a few extra work here and there. And I thought it was great as a kid because I got to play pretend and get paid for it. So I mean, what better job could a kid ask for? I didn't really see it as a career. Really thought I was gonna be like a dancer or a doctor as a kid, even though I didn't know what had to go into that. I'm not a very good dancer, and I'm not very good at biology. So, yeah, and then I took a break for a few years and then came back when I was 12. That's when I really started getting into it. And I had to leave school I had to leave public school because it was difficult to keep up with all the work that I was getting into with doing extra work. And that's when I realized I wanted to be an actor. I wanted that to be my career. And it was difficult. It was really difficult for a while because from the age of 12 to the age of 21, the age of 20, that's how long I was acting. It was a very long time. I wanted to be more than just an extra, but the industry at the time was not ready for Filipinos to be leading men or really side characters. It's still struggling today. I do see it getting better, but as of right now, it's still not there. And my proof that the industry was not ready for Filipinos was that the I mean, let me ask you. Guess how many roles I auditioned for that were specifically Filipino?
Before I throw out a number there, I'm going to ask a question to try and help guide me here. Can I count it on one hand?
Yes.
Okay, 4.
We're doing over under. I'll go with 3 since there are more numbers below 4 than above.
Wow.
1.
Damn. Within
Why?
11 years, 1 role that was specifically cast for Filipino.
Yep. And that was for Joe Coy's movie. Joe Coy is
Damn.
a Filipino comedian, for those who don't know. I was going to play I auditioned to play his son. And that was on the last year that I was acting.
Damn.
That was the last year.
That's insane, dude. That is absolutely insane.
I was an extra on Girl Meets World, and every few episodes they'd give one of the extras in the classroom like a line. And out of all the episodes that they give me a line, it's the cultural episode. And they don't make me full Filipino. They make me Cambodian and Filipino.
Talking to yourself? Oh, this your grandma.
That's
And
right.
Yeah, they don't make me
Yeah.
speak Tagalog. They make me speak Cambodian. So
Yeah.
there's more Filipino erasure there. So
Yeah, I actually have seen the clips of you in Girl Meets World. Britt has definitely made sure to show me, and I was interested in watching them. Yeah, no, I remember that, and I think I remember Britt and I had a conversation about that, and I was like, he's Filipino. I mean, they could have just made him Filipino. Like, you could have accurately talked on Filipino culture, but no, that's not what they wanted to do.
yeah, I mean, it was a writer's room filled with old white men who didn't really know much about culture, much about different cultures. So
90% of the writers' room in the Hollywood world are, typically described as older white men, people who might be considered out of touch for what exactly they're writing. I don't know. At least that's like the joke I see floating around online. I don't know how true it actually is. But in your case, it sounds very true.
So how did that affect you? How did you feel uncomfortable on set pretending to be somebody else that wasn't really true to your story?
at the time, I was 15, and I wasn't really like putting myself into like really understanding like I guess race politics and stuff like that. So I thought it was just an exciting opportunity. Like I thought this was like this is it. This is my moment that could help me get more roles. It didn't because I could speak Spanish. My agent would send me on also Spanish speaking roles, but I look Filipino, so I would go for Asian and Spanish speaking roles. I'd be too brown for Asian roles, and I'd be too Asian for Spanish roles. So there was no in between for me, and that was the struggle I went through my entire acting career.
It definitely sounds very much like they were trying to keep you in a very specific role. I think they call that typecasting, right? Am I using the right term there?
Yeah.
Well, Nigel, I definitely want to dig a little bit deeper into this concept and exactly how you ended up getting yourself into the world of editing. But before we get further into that, I do want to go ahead and take a second here to remind our listeners that if you are listening to us over on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify Podcast, we are also in a video format over on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So if you want to go on over and check out Aaron's incredible Mothman shirt, if you want to see Nigel's wafty, wavy, beautiful hair, or you just want to take a gander at the reflection in my glasses, please join us over on YouTube, subscribe, hit that like bell in case you want to keep up with every single new episode that drops. And if you're feeling so froggy, please leave a comment down below of your favorite moment and or, just tell Nigel how much you think he's an awesome guy. So thank you very much, and we're going to go ahead and get right back to the show.
Nigel, I find it's blending my brain in a ninja because America has such a tight relationship that goes back decades with the Philippines. You'd really think that we would want more representation since there are so many Filipinos in our lives who are integral to our society.
Yeah, I mean, like when you think about it, everywhere you go in America, there's always like at least one Filipino somewhere. It's like we're the most like immigrated population. Like we immigrate everywhere. So the representation of Filipinos is really difficult to find in media. So when you see someone like a Filipino get excited that they see a Filipino grandma in the latest Spider-Man movie, we freak out because like, wow, there's a Filipino in Marvel.
We made it.
You are canon now.
Yeah.
You are canon now. It was a canon event.
Yeah, representation is so freaking important in media,
Yeah.
and the elites somehow don't see that. It's like the old Sith Empire that's all human-centric, and, you know, they don't see people who are different as being able to contribute, whereas that is the whole point of our global civilization these days. Everyone has a voice.
Yeah, there's actually a moment in college with one of my really close friends. He's Filipino too, and when I told him that I was on Guillermo's role, he realized like what episode I was in, and like he remembered watching that as a kid and saying like that it was really important for him to see that as a kid. Seeing a boy that looked like him was really special to him to see on Disney Channel. I didn't really realize that until like he told me.
That's incredible because you don't think about exactly how you reach through your arts and in this situation as an actor. You don't realize exactly how you've like affected somebody. But for the younger version of this fellow student of yours, you might have made a huge impression that affected him and might have been also a contributing factor for him to even want to get involved in the world of entertainment and media.
Yeah. It was nice to hear that from him, but it was already too late by that time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sometime after our pandemic situation in 2021, 2022 area where you kind of decided to quit acting for good, correct?
Yeah. I was unsure what I would do. Like I knew I wanted to be an actor, but I didn't know what I could be doing in my spare time. So I went to community college in January 2020, and I started really getting into my studies because I decided to major in film. And without telling my dad that majoring in film is hard to get a job, then I started like really focusing on my schoolwork, and like there was a journalism class where we got to make a radio show, and then the next semester I got to be the radio show's like engineer, where I'd be the one putting all this stuff on putting everybody's show on the website. And
Right.
I loved doing all that, but I had school, I had that, and I also had like 3 auditions in 1 week that I knew I wouldn't get. And it came down to me and my sister Kirsten. She was on the show. She was helping me do laundry because she saw how overwhelmed I was, and I just crashed. I told her I didn't want to act anymore, and I quit. But there was more to it than just like being overwhelmed. There was two roles that led me to overall quitting, because I've told you this before, but I auditioned for Power Rangers, and that was an audition process from March 2020 to August 2020.
Dang.
There was like I did one audition. I sent in a clip of me doing some cool kicks. I had your wife, my sister, record that stuff. It was a little silly because I hadn't stretched in a while, so like there's a few takes where I'm just falling, but we used the good takes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, submitted that. A month later, I got a call back, and it was callback after callback. And then even meeting the executive producer, like in person, of course, outside, 12 feet apart under a tent in the park because COVID stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Like they'd ask me like, so do you have any questions for us? And I'd be like, when do we start? And they loved all that. They sent a contract the next month. And in August, I got an email saying that COVID is preventing the American actors to come to New Zealand because that's where they filmed the Power Rangers show. So they couldn't go with me. It was down to the top 12, which means that it was 2 against 2 for each Power Ranger.
Damn.
So it was me or the other guy. They went with a more tall, handsome-looking Asian man. Turns out that was a lie because some of the actors on that season of Power Rangers were American. So that was the easy way of letting me down. And I wanted to quit right there and then. My mom said, just one more. We'll try again. Fine. It wasn't one more audition. It was a few more because I was like, I don't want to let this like bring me down too much. And then Mindy Kaling show opportunity came where I got to play this small part, and I did one audition and got the part, was ready to go. And like we were a few days away, and then they emailed me saying, we are sorry, but we had to cut that role. We couldn't fit it into the episode. It just didn't fit. Like even when I got it, like I didn't.
Yeah. It was kind of like, you were getting it was like the universe's big old like, hey, maybe this isn't the path,
Yeah. But during all this time of acting and doing school, I was also editing. From the age of like 12 to 16, I was doing my own gaming videos on YouTube. You'll never find them. I privated all of them. And I would do crazy edits, just goofing around with my cousins and friends. And I didn't really think of editing as a passion at the time. And then like, I would also make silly trailers with my friends, just practicing editing through iMovie. And then when I got into community college, I was just started editing like little short films for my film class, and like little commercials. And then I realized, oh wait, I'm good at this.
Incredible.
Which landed me an internship at this radio show podcast where I'd edit their videos. That's when I realized like I just want to be an editor for the rest of my life.
I mean, it makes sense. I just looked at your YouTube channel, and you're short. I'm not calling you short. Understand?
Yes.
Shorts video that you had uploaded to your account called Let's Groove has 15,000 views on it.
I made the video when I was depressed, and it was just such a goofy thing to do.
Yeah, you could have done some shorts. I think you probably still could, honestly. You're on your channel. We were just watching it the other day, actually. But we checked out the Baka video.
Baka.
That was $35.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty bad investment. I'm not going to lie. So after deciding that acting wasn't going to be the path you took, you decided to fully dive into the world of college. And I know that you had submitted applications to multiple colleges, and you also shared at the beginning that you graduated University of Santa Barbara. So I know that that's how you ended up making it there, but where did you feel the call to decide to get into the world of editing? Like, how did that really make you feel so, I don't know, driven to do?
I remember it was this one specific project for my intro to film class, and they had us recreate a scene from any movie.
A shot for shot?
Shot for shot. I had my best friend and I recreate the red pill, blue pill scene from The Matrix.
Oh.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I had so much fun like making it and editing it. I was like, I want to make my own things. Like I want to edit other people's things. Like, and I started like looking up like how much do editors get paid? And I was like, okay, that's not terrible. I think I could do this. Because you can be an editor specialized in whatever. You want to be an editor for social media, there's a whole population of them. You want to be an editor in film, there's a whole population for them. You want to be an editor for commercials, they're all separated. They're not like inflated in one thing.
So what have you specialized in? Are you a film editor? I mean, you said you love these shorts, you love that recreating just the red pill, blue pill scene. What is it that has really called to you?
Music videos. Yeah. I directed a few, edited all of them. Also, watch Better by Katie Waters. That's the one I directed and edited. Also, short films. I direct my own and I edited a lot. At Santa Barbara, people would just give me stuff to edit and I'd do it for them, and like I wouldn't get paid, but that was just school. Yeah. What was the original question?
I believe it was, what do you specialize in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I specialize
actually,
in turning shit shiny.
I want to hear more about the creation of music videos, because that sounds really interesting. Do they just have to, I mean, I really just want to know everything about them. I understand that they have to do so many different takes in so many different locations, doing so many different things, and, you know, lip syncing to their music or singing can be so complicated. How do you choose the sequence of events that tells the narrative of the song?
Okay, so I've made music videos for only 2 different artists, and they are completely different within the process of everything. The first guy, his name is Jomch, Jomch. He would let me do whatever I wanted. Like, the story was up to him. Whatever the final edit was, that was it. He had full trust in me. And for that process, we had to find a laundry. His song is called Laundry, Taxes, and Roller Coasters, which was inspired by Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I thought of like the music video being shot at a laundromat. And we had to find a laundromat somewhere in Santa Barbara that would let us shoot for free. And they said we could shoot it for free at night. So we were there for a while. It was from like 8 to 1 a.m., 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. And then his second music video that I did for him, we literally just did it at the cul-de-sac by my apartment in Santa Barbara. And we shot it like 10 in the morning. No money, literally just used school equipment for that. That they didn't know I took their equipment, but that's okay.
Well, you had to get it somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I had access. And yeah, that was made for no money. He literally just let me do whatever I want. I finished the edit in like 2 days, and we uploaded it on Valentine's Day. Katie Waters, she's more in the professional side of things. Like, she's under a label. So there's a certain process that needs to go through. And she actually, okay, so like in film, there's some films are the director is also the writer, and there's other films where there's a writer and then there's the director, like The Social Network. I'm not trying to compare this music video to The Social Network, but it was a similar situation where Katie kind of wrote the music video and I directed it. She basically gave me what she wants to see, what has to be in there, and what's flexible, and like anything I wanted to do. And then I guess with the editing process with that, whatever feels right. Obviously there has to be a loose string that everything connects to. Like, it's a linear story, but not very like coherent. You know what I mean? It's just put together in a linear story. I guess I could say for the music video, because it's already going to be out, but like we have some sort of like story where she starts laying down. Like she starts the music video laying down. She ends the music video like standing up, singing to the camera, kind of powerful. So there was like a progression of her like getting up in the song.
That's really wonderful. Whenever we interviewed her, we talked a lot about her progression and how it went from like storytelling to her embodying herself and her power. So I do think that that's a wonderful metaphor for that progression and where she's at now. So bravo. I have a question here. What are the most pivotal things that you've learned through these, I think, 4 music videos now? What did you wish you had known at the beginning? Or how have you changed your approach?
Well, the first music video was a crew of 6 people. And the second music video was a crew of 3. And then the third one that's coming out, that was a crew of like 10 people. So I guess like if it's no money, you could just make it with 3 of your buddies, and you got it. If there's like money involved, different locations and stuff, you need to learn how to rely on people. And that's where I get my producers to take care of the logistical stuff.
Yeah.
And then the rest of your crew, you got to put your trust in your crew.
That makes sense. I wonder too. So I remember there was a time in my life where I wanted to be a film director myself. And I never really considered getting into the editing side. But I did dabble a little bit on Windows Movie Maker, back when that was like the best thing that I could get my hands on. So I always thought to myself, like, filming should be easy, like if I wanted to make a music video, why can't I just point and click? To the point where Aaron can attest to this, and there may be a video that exists out there on the internet somewhere of us doing just that, grabbing a camera and trying to make content on YouTube as a bunch of like 14-year-olds.
The archives.
The archives, yeah. Those might all be privated by now. I can't recall. But, after holding the camera and recording, I've realized it's not just that simple. But if there was any bit of advice that you could offer to, like, as an example, 14-year-old me, who's interested in taking a camera and just kind of recording content, what are some simple tips that you could give?
You can try to do everything, but it's always better to have people who can help you. Like I said, when entering the film major, you have to learn where you want to be specializing in, because when you're making a music video, short film, movie, like anything, you need the guy you need the guy or girl, or you need the person who specializes in the camera. You need the person who specializes in lighting, because light doesn't look that way in real life. In film, it like
big facts.
The film look is teal and orange. Life is not teal and orange. Well, as in, I mean, the
thumbnails are pretty orange.
That's a film term. Like, if you really pay attention to like how color grading looks in film, the environment looks more teal, and people's faces look more warm to the point of orange. Yeah, but then there's like rare cases of like whiplash where everything's yellow, but yeah, and then there's sound. Like you can't record with a camera and have your sound like appear by yourself and make it look good. Maybe it's possible. Maybe people have done it before, but like, why? Like, why do it by yourself?
Yeah. So
that's a huge thing we've learned on this podcast is collaboration, and also having faith in your team to be able to accomplish the task that's in their wheelhouse. Tim, did you have something before I get on to this next big question I have for Nigel?
Yeah, I was just going to say that that's pretty much the best advice that 14-year-old me could have gotten. Definitely rely on my friends. Let them each kind of take their own wheel, specialize in it. And if you're somebody out there listening to this show who's thinking to themselves, I don't know nothing about film, lighting, editing, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, the best thing to do, grab a camera and just try it out. Try until you understand the concept, the basics, and then release something, man. Ask for some feedback. I think that would be a great way for any young, inspiring filmmaker slash editor who wants to see if that's a career that they actually would enjoy. Give it a shot.
So, Nigel, my big question that you've sparked a ton of interest in me for is I want to hear your big inspirations. What do you see out there now, or what do you remember from your past that you're like, this is it, this is art? For me, it just as you're thinking here, what dreams may come? A movie that's also a painting with this deep story of pain, loss, hope. You know, that to me is like the perfect film ever created.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Great
That-
movie.
Dude,
Great
That
movie.
is the film where I'm like, yeah, I want to make stuff like this.
how many times have you sung Ramona? Ramona.
Not that song. I sang Black Sheep like a bunch because is that the song? Yes, I've seen the movie like maybe a dozen times. But that's the film. That's the style that I wanted to do. I still implement that in some stuff that I do, where I can fit it, like the silly wackiness of things. I put that in a lot of things that I write. That's the film.
Is there some influence from that in your short project, Someone Lied on the Roommate form?
Oh yeah, I was only an actor on that one, but
Okay.
I helped with choreography because me and Naji, he's the one who directed it. So this is a film, it's a silent film where two roommates butt heads and literally fight because one is messy and one is too clean. And there's some fight moves where we pull from anime and other things. There were things that we wanted to do that just didn't work, but like we wanted like a moment where both of us are like slow-mo pulling it back and then like squiggle lines behind us, like anime and Drop It Where's the World. But it couldn't work, and especially in the time that we had, because we finished filming the beginning of the week that submissions were due.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because it was a small crew. It was me, Naji, and two camera guys. And we filmed it before class for 2 weeks. So it was like 1 to 4 hours each time.
Dang.
And so it was just like we didn't have a lot of time to do everything. And then we had a day where we shot the fight scene in a beach, and we spent the entire day at the beach. So it's stuff like that. I'll show it to you sometime, Aaron.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But my humor in my films comes from, is definitely inspired by Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I really love Edgar Wright. He's definitely a big inspiration to how I want to make films.
Yeah, absurdism is fantastic. One of the shows that I'm now banned from watching in my own home is I Think You Should Leave, because it's just the most ridiculous stuff. And that was a huge aspect of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World that entertained me as well. But something you've mentioned a couple times is fighting. We're having a martial background. Would you be able to provide a little more context for me on that? Since I'm the Shaolin guy.
My mom put us in self-defense classes in Taekwondo. Kind of a joke at this point now, sadly. But before, it was seen as this serious thing. And we were put into me and my sisters were put into Taekwondo when I was 5.
It's your signature kick.
My prettiest kick was the jumping spinning hook kick.
Oh, nice.
It's like the opposite of a tornado kick. But it was definitely not an effective kick. Like nobody's getting
There's so much time.
Yeah. There's so much time that you could dodge it unless you're like, I mean, if you're quick with it and you know how to like use it properly, you can get a hit in against someone who knows nothing about fighting.
Look, I'm just saying, kicks were very popular in the movie Roadhouse, and they made it look very effective there. So I don't know.
Kicks,
That's
I
a
think
movie.
kicks are very.
I think all
yeah.
these kicks are going to work. I think that's the most effective fighting style.
Now
So
in a
kicks are-
tournament,
Yeah.
during sparring and tournaments, my signature kick was the jumping back kick. There was a lot of power in it. I often trained my jumping back kick because it took the air out of my opponent. So yeah, because
you fold someone over with that.
they always say like aim for the head, it kind of distorts them. It's like no, aim for the body. Takes their breath away.
Yeah, as an avid MMA connoisseur and somebody who's done tons of sparring and fighting and tournament play, yeah, if you can't breathe, you can't fight. If you're a little wobbly, you could still put something together. And as you said, a lot of those high risk, high reward kicks, jumping, spinning hook kick, double back smash, what you call the tornado kick, those you have to time so incredibly precise, either when someone's coming in and they're expecting you to do something else, or if they're retreating and watching for something on a different level and you can travel really aggressively with it. Sometimes you can get away with it, but once they see it, they know what it looks like and they can very easily just get out of the way.
Yeah, I think I've only landed a tornado kick once in a tournament because like it's very risky. Like
My favorite technique of all time, by the way, so watch out.
I guess because like fighting as kids, you kind of let go of all strategy.
Oh yeah.
So you're kind of just throwing kicks. But I was trying to build a strategic sense even at a young age, just trying to understand like how to read kicks and how to read an enemy, and that's why jumping back kick is such a easy and effective move, because like the kid would just run to you and you could easily just jump and back kick their stomach. And when I got back into Taekwondo 2 years ago, I went to this school and like I'm not trying to shade the school, but a bunch of the black belts sucked. And when I'd spar them, I was like a Mortal Kombat character. I'd spam one move because of how easy it was, and I wanted them to learn. Like you can't. I earned this black belt.
And it is easy once you kind of see how they're all doing. One thing that I saw coming back to my school, one of the first nights I was back, our master, Jason, who has an episode with us, had us do sparring. And I realized that everyone was fighting at this kickboxing range, and everyone really wanted to control that distance and keep the same space. So I was like, cool, if I just walk forward incessantly, they're going to have no idea what to do. So once you kind of understand how everyone's going to approach the fight, you can really dictate your own terms there. But it seems like one of the key things you took from your Taekwondo experience is an eye for detail and a feel for timing.
That's exactly what I took out of it. And like, I mean, it definitely helped with my instincts and reaction time. Especially as a kid, like I think my reaction time was very good. It has kind of like gotten worse over time because I quit Taekwondo for 8 years. So, and I quit again when I went to UCSB. But yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Oh, I was wondering if Tim had anything, because I could talk martial arts all day. So, as we were saying, getting that attention detail, that timing, the feel for pace. It seems like becoming an editor is such a natural thing for you to do because, I mean, that's all it is shaping how someone's going to react to what's going on, the timing, the feel. Are you, creating stress, or is it fast, beat after beat after beat? So do you have favored techniques that kind of express that?
My favorite type of editing techniques is editing to the music. That's why I love music videos. I love editing to music. I would always edit to music when I would do my gaming YouTube videos, and little like um little things that never were put out to the public. They're all hidden in a drive somewhere that I lost.
It's not lost. You still have them. Publish them now.
I just
Show me what you got. Show me.
I love giving good rhythm to films and to things I make. Like the latest short film I edited, the director told me to make the scenes 1 to 3 in the script has to be the first 2 minutes of the film, which means we have to combine them all together. And I edited them in a rhythm that was very much inspired by, first we edited it to one of the themes in Old Boy, the Korean film Old Boy. It was, I forgot what the song was, but it's the main villain's theme, and we put that as a temp song, and we edited to that. And then we created once we got to make the score, the score just matched my edit. So it was something like that. But yeah, editing to music, that's my favorite technique.
Interesting. It's amazing how much of an influence it can have on the way you go into an edit, and how much, I know it's very important that people talk about sound is it's one of your major senses. So it makes sense that it's such an important aspect, but for you, it seems like almost a primary aspect. Like that's where you're drawing your inspiration from. And that's really awesome, and a really unique way, I think, to kind of go into editing, because I feel like a lot of us think about editing as a sense of the perfect shot with just the right amount of pacing, but music enhances that so much.
Yeah, I definitely think you have become a dancer in that way.
Yeah, Baby Driver was one of my inspirations for how I edit. Because the music was already part of the film, so they edited to the music.
Yeah. Actually, does that Guardians of the Galaxy? I kind of feel like they have a very similar way that they did that. Do you agree or disagree?
I think James Gunn had an idea of what song would go into what scene, so it was made in that way.
Yeah.
So he's definitely another inspiration.
I feel like
not his past, but his filmmaking.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And interestingly enough, that's kind of how I felt about the most recent Deadpool movie too. Deadpool and Wolverine. It felt like the scenes that they were showing that had these, classic pop songs playing over were number one to the creator, the directors.
Yeah, that's just Sean Levy. I think he has a good sense of rhythm, this filmmaking.
Very interesting. And very neat perspective too. I never really took the time to consider that when I was watching a film, but I think I'm going to go into them a little bit differently.
It's not listening to music while you edit. It's adding the music to your edit, so you edit the cuts to the beats of the song.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. But hey, still listening to music. It's going to be really good.
I can't listen to music while I edit because I have to listen to what people are saying and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess when you're editing a podcast, sometimes music might be a little distracting, huh?
Yep.
Well, can't axe that idea, Aaron. We tried. We really did,
Deal.
buddy. Well, I do think we are approaching the end of our episode today, Nigel. So before we go ahead and close this out, I just want to ask real quick, is there any bits of advice, any kind of little tidbits or something that you would like to tell the audience a little bit about, finding that inspiration and anything to that effect?
Give what you love a shot, because you can fail at anything.
Yeah. Very inspirational, I would say.
I would agree completely.
So I do think we can go ahead and wrap this on up. I want to give a huge shout out to you, Nigel. Thank you so much for joining us on No Streetlights this week and sharing your perspective and your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Love talking to my brother-in-law.
Ow.
Dipping my toes
in my ice
you
cream.
can't. Sorry.
We have a slightly different relationship, but it is a
We
fantastic
danced
one.
at a wedding.
We did. We did,
Tim's
and we made a beautiful movie.
It's true. It was a beautiful movie.
Yes.
I would also love to thank our guests for coming on this journey with us. I know I had fun. I really hope you did too, and I hope that you can take something from this and incorporate it into your being and into your life, maybe into your creative process, because we are here to create.
To all of our listeners out there, I do want to go ahead and give a huge shout out. If you want to try and support us, then all you really got to do is follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, wherever you prefer to ingest your podcast media. If you're interested, also please subscribe to us and ring the notification bell. So this way you can watch us over on YouTube and give our videos a like, leave a comment. Small things like that really go a long way in helping small creators like Aaron and I.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of success and growth on all our platforms, whether that be Facebook, Insta, our TikTok is going wild right now. So get in on that while it's hot.
Yeah, all of the links to all of our locations and all the things mentioned above are going to be down in the descriptions below. So please, if you're interested or any of the things we talked about, you find fascinating, go give them a check out. As a quick little reminder here, our podcast is for entertainment purposes and cannot be substituted for professional medical advice.
If you need help now, please call 911, or you can call or text 988. If you want protracted support from a therapist, we've partnered with BetterHelp.com. You can use our code /NSLP. You get 10% off your first month. Super easy and convenient. You can have your sessions wherever and whenever you need.
Quick little reminder there, it's betterhelp.com /NSLP. Make sure to be good to yourselves and each other.
We love you.
Peace.
So take a breath, you're right on time. No street lights, but we're finding our way. In the dark, but we've got something to say. Lessons learned.